Welcome to the Exes Babies Podcast, covering the good, bad, and the ugly of co-parenting. I'm your host, Sydney Swonigan, aka the Co-Parent Whisperer. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So we're in a series of talking about principles and values that you can incorporate within your team dynamic for co-parenting, because we know that there'll be better outcomes for your team, which is going to impact your children, right? And so today we're going to talk about accountability. That is major for any team, sports, work, the same song and dance that I give. I hope you guys are watching these, by the way. There's many folks out there who are struggling. Obviously, co-parenting is not easy, and a lot of it's just not knowing how to co-parent. And so there's a lot of good information. Please look at our other YouTube videos, especially the ones focusing on like your team culture and co-parenting well as a team, defining those principles that you're going to live by within your team dynamic, because they give you something to work off of. Even if you're like, I don't like that, I don't care for that, at least you have some kind of frame of reference for how to think about co-parenting. The how is not usually offered. So I hope you're enjoying this. Please leave comments if you have questions or ideas or something's not working for you. Would love to hear your thoughts. Getting back to it, taking accountability is so important. A lot of people are always talking about how other people should take accountability. We have to take accountability. I take accountability when it comes to my co-parenting. And that means not just recognizing when I've made a mistake, but it's also like really taking ownership of what I'm accountable for. I'm accountable for making sure my son's needs are met. I'm accountable for communicating with my ex and my co-parent partner, or whatever you want to call it, right? I'm accountable for certain things and getting things done. I'm the owner of getting things done, right? If you're more in the corporate space and you like using those terms. And when I make a mistake, I take accountability as well. When I've dropped a ball in an area where I am accountable, I go and then own that. And the owning it, I think people mix it up. I think the reason why I think it's so hard for people to take accountability, including some of our leaders, is because people accept making a mistake or failure as a reflection of their worth. And as a society, we do that. We totally do. Oh, you made a mistake, you're canceled. You made a mistake, your way of making money is now gone. Your friends and family, gone. You're not allowed to make a mistake in this culture. And so I see where it comes from. But right here in this nice co-parenting community bubble, we're going to get rid of that, because that doesn't help us to co-parent well together as a team, right, with our co-parent team. And it also impacts our children when we can't show up as our best selves because we're afraid to fail or make mistakes. I'm very comfortable taking accountability for my flaws. One, because my mom modeled that for me. She apologized. Even when I was a little kid, if she made a mistake, got too angry about something or whatever it was, she would apologize. And that was the first time I realized, like, I am worthy of receiving an apology from someone who's older than me, right? Someone who's got a different role in my life, someone who has a superior role in my life, in a sense. I am worthy of receiving that. And also, she didn't like herself any less, right? She didn't love herself any less. Like, you can take accountability, and that's all it is right there. It doesn't mean anything else about your value or that you're a bad person, right? And so I saw that model for me. And then also, like, because I want people to take accountability as well when they've made mistakes. And it's not just because it makes me feel good and feel seen, which is nice. I do like that. But it's also because it lets me know that they get the impact of their actions or failures on me or our children, right? And when you can take accountability, you can then change. If you can't take accountability, you can't change. You can't evolve. If you can't take a moment to be like, hey, I am horrible with time management at times. Myself, I'm actually speaking right now. Sydney can be bad with time management. It has a lot to do with ADHD and time blindness. However, there's still expectations of me. I still live in a society where time is really important. And so for me, I have to, because I'm able to own that, I love myself the same. I like myself the same. I don't think I'm this horrible person because I'm owning this failure or this flaw that I have. Again, it's a flaw because of the society that we're set up in. But because I'm able to do that, I'm able to think about, okay, now that I know that, I can go ask for help. I can be vulnerable and tell someone, hey, I'm really bad at time management. Can you please tell me what you're doing to be good at it? I remember I asked my friend years ago, one of my best friends, she's always punctual to the point where it frustrates me because I'm like, can we just both be late? Because then I feel bad. But anyways, how do you get to places on time? I'm able to ask that because I am okay being vulnerable and I accept that I'm not good at that and I'm talking to my friend, right? And then she gave me some tips. She's like, well, I look up how long it's going to take me to get there and I leave in enough time for me to get there. Like, and I was just like, I know for her, she's like, it's that simple. But for me, I was like, I never looked up ahead of time how long it would take me to get to places a lot of the time, right? And so I didn't factor that into my timeline, the schedule, the planning of getting somewhere. And so I was like, I just always assume everything's going to take 30 minutes to get there. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes there's traffic. Sometimes there's this. Sometimes there's that. And then a lot of the times it's just, even with me knowing how long it's going to take, I'm still like, have this warped idea of what I can get done in terms of getting ready. I think I can like literally get fully ready, shower, makeup, everything in 20 minutes. And that is not true. I've had to like challenge that for years in my head. Anyways, I said to say, because I'm able to hold myself accountable, I'm able to own up on that, I can go then problem solve. I can ask for help. I can use tools. I can use tools to remind me. I use AI. I ask for help from friends. And so it is so important for yourself to be able to hold yourself accountable and ask yourself why. If you are having trouble with that, why is that? What happens? What are you afraid of when it comes time to accept accountability for something? Some people feel it or fear that it's going to be used against them. That then, oh yeah, well, you're just bad at that. Well, they think it's going to be weaponized against them. And hey, it might be depending on what kind of co-parent you're working with, unfortunately. But, separate that out. The value of you taking accountability is about you. And you can model that for your children too. That is so important. In a world where people aren't taking accountability and lives are being majorly impacted because of that, be the change, be different. Please model that. Do it for yourself, do it for your children. Get to the crux of what might be a blocker for you in terms of it taking accountability. And then address that. Taking accountability also builds trust with your co-parent. When my ex is taking accountability, he said something that hurt my feelings. It was really rude in front of our co-parenting family. And I hit him up, was like, hey, that was like not cool. And he responded like immediately, you're right. I apologize. That was uncalled for. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like I was speechless. I was like, wow, first of all, I wasn't expecting that quick of a, yes, you're right. I didn't have to explain it a whole bunch. I didn't have to break it down. And by him doing that, by him owning up, like, yeah, I didn't do that right, or said the wrong thing, right? And then also then apologizing, it made for a better team morale. It made me want to partner with him on stuff more, in terms of co-parenting, staying in those walls of that, right? But now I'm going to probably be a little bit nicer and more accommodating or whatever, right? And so, yeah, and it just made me trust that when something else happens, when, you heard me say when, because we're humans, we're going to always have things to navigate, that we'll be able to handle it, right? And get through that. And so, yeah, taking accountability, whatever it is. And also bring that community in with you. Like if you know that there's a set of things you're trying to do with your children and with a co-parenting dynamic, especially if it's something that's hard for you, tell your family, here's how I want you to hold me accountable. Please, friends, community. If you catch me doing X, Y, and Z, which is not what we agreed to do as co-parents, I give you full permission to hold me accountable and be like, yo, you're slipping up. Don't have those friends around who are going to be like, yeah, take full custody and, what, off with their heads, right? Like people who aren't going to hold you. It's all their fault. It's not your fault, girl. Have people around you who are going to hold you accountable so you can be your best self, so that you can actually solve problems, so that you can actually evolve, and that you can actually model things for your children, as well as have a better co-parenting dynamic. Once you work that muscle, it becomes so easy. And you guys move fast. You move through conflict faster as well. So take accountability, be clear on what you're accountable for. And then also, when you find that you're slipping up, make it quick. Just like, my bad, I apologize, I dropped the ball. Here's what I'm doing to manage that. Here's what I'm doing, I'll do better, right? And I know you'll have better outcomes. All right. Thank you and good luck out there. Thank you for watching. Please click like, subscribe, and share.